What's up, folks? All right, so we're going to do something a little bit different today. This isn't going to be a full-blown podcast. This isn't going to be a series of topics. This is just going to be one action that we're going to do live real time. And there's a little bit of pressure here just to see if I'm going to be able to beat the clock. And if I don't, I'm still going to post this. It's just going to be embarrassing that I structure things the way that I did. But anyway, let me just get into this piece of content for today. This is the Chris HOJ-cast number 7, I believe, is the number that we're on. I hope that's right. So this morning, I woke up and I got a DM from a friend who is a dealer and a sports card collector named Gunther, also a fellow student of law. I think he's currently in law school. I graduated quite a while ago now. And anyway, he sent me a card and he said, hey, this might be something that you're interested in. And he was right. He is definitely an eBay fiend. But so anyway, he found something that I might be interested in, and that is the card that you see on the screen right now. And he sent me an eBay link, and he said, hey, this just got posted. And so I looked at it, and I said, well, that's an interesting card. I've once owned a uniformity gold vinyl Jokic, but it was like the 2021-22, and it was a cool card. But I ended up selling it when I was consolidating and fundraising in order to buy a different card. But I really liked it. I've always liked these jersey looking cards. I liked it when Threads made them. I liked it when Ultra made them in the 90s. I always thought it was a really cool design feature, and I like gold vinyls too. So I looked at it and I started thinking to myself, is this actually the first instance of the uniformity set appearing in Panini products? Because if it is, now the card suddenly my interest level gets peaked. And so what I did was I was like, okay, this is cool. I threw kind of a low ball offer at it on eBay, and the offer is sitting or I'm sorry, the first offer was auto rejected. And then I sent another offer and it was auto rejected. And then I sent a third offer and it's waiting right now. It's in limbo right now. But after I sent that third offer, and sort of the card was marinating, I went out and I took a little trot, a little jog this morning. It's a beautiful day in the low 60s, an overcast day here in the Midwest. And I was finishing listening to one of the podcast breakouts from Sports Cards Live, and then I transitioned into listening to the flagship episode on the Stacking Slabs Patreon. And I started thinking to myself, you know what? I should look further into this card. I should think about making some content sort of around the process of my ratcheting up desire to buy this card, and then buy it if inspiration really strikes, and I should document it as a piece of content. So here's the card. So here's how it works. So if you wanted to see it on eBay, it is there right now. You can just type in Jokic uniformity gold vinyl and it shows up. And right away, it's a little bit. I'm already know this is going to be a little bit of a process, a little bit of an unusual process because there's a $60 delivery charge and it's coming from China. So once I open up that link, I can see here. Yes, indeed, here's the card. I can see that it's located in Shanghai. And then I noticed that the seller has a feedback score of 2, which concerns me quite a bit. So not only now am I going to wait for this card to ship from China, but also the seller has almost no feedback. But as I looked into it, it says Pro Breaks, previous accounts weighing NCAA with over 8,000 positive feedbacks. And I recognize that. In fact, I've bought cards from that account before. We've been in the hobby for over 15 years. That sounds about right because I was buying cards from this account 8 or 9 years ago, roughly. So, okay, I see they have 2 feedback. I see they have lots of other items for sale. I was looking at, I won't click into that right now, but they have lots of other items for sale. So, okay, I'm starting to feel a little more comfortable. Now I need to figure out what's the significance of this set. I mean, I really like the uniformity side. I really like the design and the look of it. But is this, in fact, the first uniformity set from Panini? And so I come over here. I come to Trading Card Database. I put in the categories basketball. I type in uniformity, and then I get these results. I see there's a 2000 Fleer Game Time uniformity basketball set. And so, yeah, it says Game Time uniformity there. Looks like the full proper name of the set is Game Time uniformity. That's pretty cool. It looks like that's the first set in basketball to use the name uniformity. Then I come over here and I say, okay, there's also a 2007 Upper Deck Chronology Uniformity. So I click to see what one of these looks like. And it's called Chronology Uniform Numbers, actually seems to be the proper title of this set as it appears on the card's surface. And then there's a gold parallel of it too. And I just got curious, does it maybe say uniformity on the gold parallel? And it doesn't. It just says Chronology Uniform Numbers. So that's really cool. Those are pretty cool sets. They don't have the look. They don't have the look of the Panini uniformity. And then I see here that let's expand to see all the results. And I see here that it looks like 2019-20 is in fact the first uniformity set, at least to appear within the category of basketball in the Trading Card DB database. Uniformity does appear to be the 2019-20 version of it does appear to be the first time this insert set appeared. So that's meaningful to me. I think that's a really meaningful distinction from the rest of these. They all look nice. Some, for certain players, probably look better than others. But the first set gets my excitement level going a little bit further. And like I said, I already really like the way that these look. So I want to do further research just to see, let's narrow in on the Panini era. And let's just make sure that there actually wasn't any other uniformity stuff to come out during the Panini era. So I narrow my search to the years 2009 through 2018, since I know that 2019, we know for sure that uniformity came out. So I narrow my search to that, and I start seeing that there's some hockey uniformity products that came out during that time span. And this is called Ultra Uniformity here, Fleer Ultra Uniformity. That's a pretty neat card. It's a memorabilia card. Again, Ultra Uniformity. So let me just go ahead and get rid of Ultra. That's in a different sport, and it's not. I'm specifically trying to figure out basketball releases, in particular Panini releases. Find out if this is Panini's first version of uniformity. Here's Rookie Uniformity by Ovechkin, an Ovechkin card. That's an Upper Deck card. Let's go ahead and take Upper Deck out of the equation too. Let's take Fleer out of the equation, just because we know that they're not a Panini brand. Okay, now I start to get a little curious. Okay, so wait a minute. 2018 Panini Threads uniformity. So that didn't come up in my trading card database search. So what are we dealing with here? And so let me look at one of these. And if I look at one of these, I actually am very familiar with this set. 2018-19 was the last year, I'm pretty sure, that Panini released Threads as a basketball standalone product. Then it retired it into Chronicles. And I'm very familiar with this particular Luka card. And I know that this card is not called Uniformity. That the word uniformity doesn't appear in here. And in fact, this is a base set card. Luka has 3 base set cards in the 2018 Panini Threads, cards number 101, 141, and 181. And this just is not a uniformity insert set card. It has the design, it has the uniform in the background design, which is really cool, but it's not a uniformity card. So I know that's the case. And so then I think to myself, well, why would they call it uniformity? And I start looking at the sold date. And the sold date is August of 2024. So this card came out in 2018, but this particular sale happened years later. And I started thinking to myself, so maybe did the seller actually become familiar with the uniformity insert set, which it's fairly popular. And then they said, hey, this looks like uniformity, so I'm going to title it that. And then if you flip around in Card Ladder, the sold, you can see that the first time that in any sales rules, the first time the word uniformity shows up is 2022 for Panini. That's well after. This is also the 2018-19 set. Also doesn't say uniformity. This is a base set version. This is the Dazzle parallel of Anthony Davis. So you can also see that's not a uniformity card either. That came out 4 years before this sale, 3 to 4 years before this sale. What's going on there is just that somebody says, hey, this looks like the uniformity insert set. Let's call it that. And you can see, yeah, I mean, people didn't start calling these Threads base set and base set parallel cards uniformity until 2022. So now I'm starting to feel better. I do believe that it looks pretty confident that 2019-20 is the first year of the uniformity insert set in basketball, particularly during the Panini era. And so then I say, well, all right, so what should I pay for the Jokic? Because if you go over and look at the eBay listing, it's 2K or best offer, basically. And like I said, I already fired some lowball offers over at him. I fired a $1,200 offer over at him. It got rejected. I upped it to $1,515. Jokic's jersey number, $1,515.15. That was auto rejected as well. And so, I mean, I know roughly the price range of these. Now, granted, this is a BGS 9.5, which sold last December. You'll notice that the seller is Chris HOJ. That's because I'm the person who sold this card. And I sold it during like I said, I was fundraising to consolidate into a different card at that time. But you could see right there, sold price of 1,800. So, granted, this is a BGS 9.5. This is a gem mint copy. The copy that I'm looking at is a CSG 8.5. It's got centering 10, corners 8.5, edges 9, surface 8. So there's probably a little bit of damage to this card, or maybe some surface issues, and the corners aren't looking great either. So, they're fine. 8.5 is a fine grade, but they're not gem. And this copy that I had was gem, and it looked gem. I mean, it's just amazing. It looks nice with that gold label too. So it was a really cool card. It hurt to give that card up, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed it, but also it wasn't the first. You just didn't have all the significance that I generally like when I'm collecting. And then I see another comp here from May, so a little over a year ago now, May 10th of 2024. Cherry Collectibles sold this raw Jokic uniformity gold vinyl for this is the 2022-23. That's a championship year. Sold that for about $1,200. So the range here, is probably, for a non-gem mint copy, maybe $1,200, $1,300, $1,500 maybe on the higher end. Just kind of depending upon when it sells and how the market's feeling at that moment. You can get plus or minus a few $100 probably, but we're establishing a range here. And then I also wanted to look at other players too before I did anything rash. So I started looking at some other players. I just went over to Card Ladder again. I typed in uniformity, and then I put 5 different ways of spelling one of one, and I started getting some results. Like here's a Jabari Smith that sold in 2022. I should know if that's a rookie year for him or not, but Panini started putting the rookie card badge on everything for him. So I'm not sure if that's rookie or not. So I'm not sure what I can learn from that. This is a mislabeled card that claims to be one of one, but it's not. This sale gave me a lot of pause. This is the 2023-24 Optic Contenders Uniformity Gold Vinyl 1 of 1 of Giannis. It sold for $610 about a month and a half ago. That concerns me because I think Giannis and Jokic are fairly equivalent players in terms of their status in the hobby. Maybe Jokic just pulled ahead a little bit recently, but that sale's concerning. Then in terms of how much would I be willing to pay, and then you see Booker here. Booker had a PSA 10, which there's going to be a big PSA 10 premium period for gold vinyl 1 of 1, no matter who the player is. Booker sold for $810. Here's some more people erroneously calling their card a 1 of 1 when it's not. Here's a 2023-24 Halliburton gold vinyl uniformity 1 of 1. Went for $420. That's that gap between Giannis and a PSA 8.5 and a raw Halliburton. That's way too close, personally, especially because this Halliburton card sold, I don't know, February 10th, well before the Pacers were doing what they're doing now, and when Halliburton was, not much fanfare surrounding him at all. Here's another Halliburton. This is actually the 2020-21 Halliburton, which is his rookie season. And I see that, assuming that the right year has been labeled on this card, I see that sold for about $420. That's the first Halliburton. So that's extremely interesting that basically his rookie year one, and his later year one sold for about the same price. To me, that's market efficiency. Again, assuming, I'm not sure what his rookie year one looks like. This might be a mislabeled, might not be. Surprised that Panini didn't put a rookie card badge on it. So those sales give me a little bit of information about what the market looks like for these. This sale, $2,000, a $2,000 best offer for the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander 2019. So here we're starting to get apples to apples. This is the first year. This is the first year of cards featuring SGA in his Oklahoma City jersey. And this sale was from February 9th. This is well before he was MVP and well before the Thunder went up 3-1 on the Minnesota Timberwolves in the conference finals. So, that's a pretty, I don't know, that's an interesting sale. I also noticed that the name Shai Gilgeous-Alexander was not put into the title for this listing. So I was able to find it just because my search was very broad. But that's extremely curious. But anyway, so that sold for about $2,000. I see that Card Ladder assigned it to the Card Ladder 50 index because that's the default index that things get assigned to if there's not a player or a character index to tie to them. And obviously, we don't have anything in the title to help us link it to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So Josh isn't able to make that connection. So it just defaults to the CL50. If this were tied to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's index, that Card Ladder value, I bet, would be closer to $3,000, $3,500. Here is a rookie year Boncaro uniformity insert. Yeah, they just did not put the rookie card badge on these apparently, which is nice actually. That they just let them sort of stand alone as inserts and not try to put the rookie card badge on. So the Paulo rookie went for 5,500 back in February. And okay, so I've looked at enough sales, and then we get back to my sale of the Jokic for 1,800. And so the Giannis sale is scary. The Giannis sale is scary for the idea of me considering smashing bin, and rather than waiting for my my offer. So the most recent offer that I sent in on this card was for $1,715.15, and that was after I had done the same research flow that I just did right now, that I tried to recreate. I tried to recreate the experience of the thought process here. But you can see I obviously had the windows already pulled up, so I already did it once. So actually, after I figured out that, hey, this is the first year of uniformity, I do really like these uniformity cards. I also think I could, maybe at the national, I always like to have cards that I grade with PSA. This would be a candidate that I would consider submitting to PSA and getting into a PSA holder. So there's a lot going on here with this card that, quite frankly, I like a lot. So I decided to record this video and walk through my thought process and kind of go through some of the things that I sort of do, the research that I do when a card like this pops up. And there are people looking at this, there are people watching this. So I don't know if anybody's gonna. There's a lot of things that sort of make this. It's priced a little bit high. This is probably more like a $1,500 card, especially since we've sort of seen that the first year, at least for Halliburton, really didn't get Halliburton's first year, which is the second year of the product, but didn't really get a big premium. But then again, we saw that the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sold for $2,000, and that's probably worth quite a bit more today. That's from the first year, but that card's a little bit special because that's not only the first year of uniformity as an insert set in Panini Basketball, but it's also the first year of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander cards in Oklahoma City Thunder jersey. So his Thunder rookie cards. So it's not a perfect apples to apples comparison. So you've got the Shai Gilgeous-Alexander sale, and that Shai is probably worth around, like I said, the card letter value would probably put that around 3,500 today, just because of how much his index has gone up even since then. Then you got the Giannis sale at 600, but the Giannis is the fourth year, the fifth year of the product, not the first year. But the collectors of this set even care about the first year. Who am I really competing against here? Am I just competing against myself? But anyway, having walked through all these thoughts, having acknowledged that I already have an offer out for $1,715.15, which means that I would only be spending about $300 more if I just hit bin, I am going to hit bin. I'm going to buy this card. First year of the uniformity insert set, gold vinyl 1 of 1. Let me review the checklist here, but I'm pretty sure that it's the only 1 of 1 to that. So it looks like 2019-20 has 1, 2, 3. It has 4 parallels. If you ever opened Contender's Optic, it doesn't have a lot of packs or anything. It's just a few packs and a few cards per pack. So they have less parallels and stuff. So it looks like they have 4 parallels to it, and I'm quite sure the gold vinyl is the only 1 of 1. The gold is out of 10, and the blue and the red cracked ice may or may not be numbered. I don't remember, but anyway, looking at all those factors, and Jokic being one of my absolute favorite players of all time, one of my favorite PC players, and knowing that the opportunity to get a card of one of my favorite players, the only 1 of 1, to this first edition of the uniformity insert set in basketball, or at least in Panini basketball, if you want to argue that maybe the chronology, uniform numbers also goes by the name uniformity. That's fine, but this is the first instance of the Panini era's production of the uniformity insert set. This is the first instance of this uniformity insert set lineage. So with all that said, got to pull it up on my phone. I am going to go ahead and smash bin, just make sure that my address is right. And we are at checkout. We are confirming and paying expedited shipping from Greater China. Estimated delivery date between June 16th and June 27th. And the order has been confirmed. So if I can sort of show my phone to the screen here, and PayPal's letting me know that I ended up paying $2,200, including shipping and state taxes. And last thing I'll do here for the stream, I'm going to hit refresh to show that it's sold. And I've gone to lengths to avoid hopefully revealing my address. So hopefully I don't hit refresh and then it says, hey, you won this, and the shipper's going to send it to you here. So if it does, then if that does happen, then I'm going to say goodbye now and say thank you for tuning into this episode. I hope this was a fun little experience. I hope I didn't give you too much anxiety as I was sort of talking through it and you're like, just buy it already. Or I'm going to hit refresh and we're going to see a cool screen that confirms that I won, and then I'll say goodbye one more time. Okay, so good. Nothing got revealed. There it is. You bought this item. 31 viewed in the last 24 hours. Yeah, so a few people had looked at this. 7 had added it to their watch list. Other people bought this. Yeah, that was me. So, all right, I bought this item. I smashed bin. Sure Brett would approve. And yeah, that's going to do it. So thanks for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. See you guys for Chris HOJ-cast episode 8 soon.